Hello and welcome to another podcast, and today I'm going to be reviewing the February Player and Manager of the Month awards and who won them, so let's get straight into it. You'll probably know who won both of them now, but we'll just look slightly over, not in much detail. This won't be the longest podcast ever, but yeah. Anyway, we'll start with the Manager of the Month, and that went to Jack Ross's Sunderland. Brilliant month for Sunderland, really. And when it comes to Manager of the Month, you're mainly more looking at how the team's done across the month. But the award goes to the manager because he's obviously coached the team and picked the team. So we'll go over Sunderland's form in February, and they started with a 1-0 win against Wimbledon. We'd expect them to win against the bottom of the league. They probably weren't bottom of the league at that point. Anyhow, they are bottom right now. Then they had a 1-1 draw against Oxford. You'd probably expect them to win that, but hey-ho. 1-1 draw against Blackpool. Again, you'd argue. To be fair, in this league, you'd expect Sunderland to win every game. They themselves, I know they have very high standards, and coming from the Premier League 2 years before, they'll have expected to win every game. Or, well, most games, not every game, obviously. But, yeah, they started the month with a 1-0 win against Wimbledon, as I said. Then a 1-1 draw against Oxford. Then a 1-1 draw against Blackpool. Before a 2-2 draw against Accrington. So some were saying that wasn't great form for them because if they were as they are challenging for automatic, you want to win as many games as possible and not draw. But so yeah, and then after that 2-2 Accrington, they had a thriller of a game, 4-2 against Gillingham, before rounding the month off with a 2-0 win against Bristol Rovers. Yes, most of the games you'd have expected them to win, and the ones they drew, apart from Oxford, Blackpool and Accrington, are both mid-table. Well, Blackpool's playoff pushing, but Accrington are mid-table. Now they're lower down, but at the time they were they were mid-table rather. So, yeah, they went unbeaten throughout the whole month, in fairness, which was 3 wins, 3 draws, which is, even though, yes, Sunderland, you'd say, should win most games, that's still brilliant form. They scored 11 goals within that time and conceded 6, which again you'd argue is whether it's too much or too much to concede if you're pushing for automatics, but they still not, well, it is pretty poor, to be fair, for a side of Sunderland's quality. However, they scored 11 and they ended up going unbeaten throughout the whole month, and yeah, Jack Ross won man of the match, not man of the match, manager of the month. It's up to you to decide whether he deserved it or not against the other candidates. Now we'll move on to player of the month, and player of the month was Aidan McGeady for Sunderland. He got 4 goals in 6 games. That's crazy, bearing in mind he's not a striker, he's a winger. One free kick, I think, against Bristol. It might not have been a free kick. He scored a free kick the other day, yesterday this is recorded on the Sunday of the 10th of March. So he scored a free kick on the 9th of March, as far as I'm aware, but that doesn't count for this. I think he scored one against Bristol on the final game of February, but I'm not sure. Anyhow, he scored 4 in 6, and that's, for a winger, when your team scored, as we know, his team scored 11 because Aidan McGeady's from Sunderland as well. To score 4 out of 11 goals for your team, that's really good for a winger. As I said, he's unbeaten, as we know, and as I just said then, he's unbeaten. He's gone unbeaten with his team over this past month, and it's been a fantastic month for him. Considering he's 32 years old now, he doesn't seem that old, but considering he's 32 years old, you'd say it's a good month. Some people would argue he should be having good months like this, considering he's played in the Premier League with Everton, and yeah, well, he didn't play in the Premier League for Sunderland, but he did play in the Premier League for Everton. But yeah, that's still a great month. Getting 4 and 6 for a winger at 32 years old is still really good. Anyway, this has been a short one, but nonetheless, thank you for listening if you've made it this far. Please leave a like and subscribe, that will be greatly appreciated. And for now, that's going to be it. So, I've been EFL League One Hub. Goodbye.